It's Foot Forward here. It is August 2nd, 2017. For those of you who don't know me, I don't even know what you'd call me. I'm a person who has interest in the Dinar. I live in Canada. I don't post and I don't do calls a lot. But I share stuff. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Okay. I was prompted to do this call. All of what I'm about to say is my opinion. Do with that what you will. It's a very interesting time, and I want to throw my insight into the mix because I think this will help clarify some things. Hey everyone, it's Foot Forward here. It is August 2nd, 2017, and what an interesting time it is. There's a lot going on, and I would like to bring some clarity wherever I can. What I'm about to say is my opinion. This is not to serve as financial advice or this is not advice suggesting anyone should take any action or do anything in particular. This is my opinion, and I'm just sharing information that I believe to be true. With that out of the way, I haven't given up on the Dinar. And I don't remember if I did a call kind of explaining some of this stuff, but I feel this all needs to be addressed. So, as a lot of you remember, I had a dream back in 2013 about Donald Trump becoming president. And basic rundown of this dream, we were on an airplane, an Airbus A380, that was going to... it was leaving Iraq, and it was going to the United States. I understood that really clearly. And anyways, there was a pilot who was on there with me, who was covered in darkness, and him and I tried to take the airplane off. I couldn't fly the airplane at that point. And there was 8 unsuccessful takeoff attempts. This is a really condensed version of the stream, but just as a reminder for people. After the 8th failed takeoff attempt, which represented 8 years in office for a particular political figure, people got fed up, took this guy off the airplane, got rid of him, and Donald Trump stepped on the airplane. And it was quite clear that he was the man that God had anointed to be president, that it was for a purpose. The entire atmosphere on the plane changed as soon as he got on there. And through this dream, God had showed me that March 21st, 2017 was a significant date. He showed me that Donald Trump was going to be president. He showed me that this Airbus A380 represented a double blessing. What I wasn't aware of is that it's actually a full double-decker bus or airplane. And a friend of mine pointed out that that represents a double blessing, which fits with this time and season that we're in. And as soon as Trump got on the airplane, him and I sat down. I had the controls in my hand of the airplane. I suddenly understood how to fly an airplane. We took off right away without any failed takeoff attempts. What that also told me was that Donald Trump needed to become president before the RV would happen. I didn't realize that until 2015. And I didn't really want to admit that because back in 2013, who really wanted to admit we were waiting that long? So God revealed to me as well that the 380 represented the 3rd month and the 80th day. And I interpreted that to mean that the RV was going to take place on that day. March 21st this year came and went. We didn't have an RV. I was quite frustrated and rather annoyed with God. My response was not good. But God whispered something to me. And some of you are going to think I'm saying this just to make myself look good. I gave up looking good a long time ago when I publicly supported Trump. When I went out there and said that Trump was going to win the presidency, people figured I was kooky then. So this isn't about my reputation. I really don't care. I don't care about appeasing people. If we're going to be people who deliver truth, a lot of people aren't going to like that. And that's okay. We have God to please. We're not too worried about pleasing man. So I was praying about this and I was asking God, what did I miss? He said, you didn't miss anything. You just misinterpreted. I said, okay. He's like, Prime Minister of Iraq was in Washington on March 20th, 2017. Yeah, I know. And he left on March 21st. Yeah, I know that too. God's like, you think it was really coincidental that he just so happened to be in the United States of America meeting with Donald Trump on the day your dream represented? What he proceeded to download into my spirit was that you can't have the beginning without the end. Okay, for you to get a result, it has to start somewhere. So let's say you're getting on an airplane and you're going from New York to Los Angeles. Okay, you don't just get to Los Angeles. There's a process. So you need to go and actually take off in the airplane from New York. You need to go through the flight and you need to go and land in Los Angeles. What God was showing me was the date that the process started for the RV. This has actually been in motion for a while. And I know a lot of people are saying that Trump's got to be out of office, or he's got to be removed, or he's the problem. I don't agree with that. And I think people need to be careful, because I wholeheartedly believe that Donald Trump was selected by God to be president of the United States in this time and season. And people need to be careful when they are cursing the person that God picked to be in a position. We have a choice. We can curse or bless. But I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump is going to win in 2020. He is going to win even more decisively in 2020 than he did in 2016. This man is going to usher in this next 15-year period, what history is going to refer to as the second gold rush. America is going to be so prosperous and so wealthy and is going to do so well in these next 15 years. It's going to be absolutely astounding. I know it looks crazy right now, but we need to pray for this president. We need to pray for protection over him, over his family. We need to pray for unity in Congress and the Senate, and we need to pray for unity among Trump and his staffers and his appointees, and we need to be praying for wisdom for this president, and awesome things are going to come out of this. I just know that. It looks crazy right now. But this is what happens when you drain the swamp. There is going to be a reaction. That's why things look a little crazy right now, but this crazy time is not going to last. Speaking of crazy times, I had a word. This would have been about 3.5 years ago, in a prayer meeting we had at church, and we were sitting there and we were praying, and suddenly the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said that when there was a spring, there was going to be a spring in a place that had no spring, like as in a spring of a well springing up, water shooting out of the ground, and I saw a desert, and that the spring was going to spring up, and that God was going to deal with three kings of the north in that season. And what I saw was Russia's flag, North Korea's, and then a combination of what I now understand to be ISIS, Turkey, Syria, and Iran. Fast forward to this point in time, and I should also preface this by saying, when my wife and I first got in the Dinar, what I saw immediately in my spirit was the U.S. and Israel and one other country, who I think is going to be Saudi Arabia, launching an air attack against Iran in particular. And they had destroyed a lot of their underground bunkers and a lot of their testing facilities for developing nuclear weapons. And I felt like there was a connection timing-wise between that and the RV. Now, please understand, it's not a connection as in we're waiting for that to happen. It's a sign of the time. So what I feel is going to happen is that stuff is going to get even crazier here in the next 30 days. And between now and October is going to be extremely hectic. But I'm telling you, it's all going to work out. What I believe is going to happen is that you are going to see the U.S. and other countries have a precision strike against Iran, and Iran is going to be liberated, and Iran is actually going to be in for a very amazing, prosperous season where the people of Iran can actually be free, and a lot of people in Iran have been looking forward to that. Your hope is coming. I know that. There is going to be more strikes against ISIS. I believe the U.S. and other countries are going to strike against North Korea, and I believe that's going to happen fairly quickly. And God is also going to deal with Russia. This pertains to another word that I was given. This was 3-4 years ago as well. God had told me that there was going to be a bear that would walk through the city. And this would be on the news for hours and hours, days, weeks at a time, because no one would know how to deal with the bear. When we saw Russia invade Crimea 2 months after God gave me this word, I understood Russia's the bear. I was seeing this invasion in Crimea, and God was warning about that. But there was a second part to this word, that God would deal with Russia in an unusual fashion. I believe we're going to see the manifestation of that here as well. I think it's going to get really hectic. I think it's going to get really crazy. I think things from a natural perspective are going to look really bad. And a lot of people are going to be praying for Jesus to come and saying that this is the end of the world and this is World War III. I don't believe that. I think this ties back to a word, a guy named Kim Clement. If you're not familiar with him, he's a prophet who passed away here not too long ago. But the guy was phenomenally accurate, and he had prophesied about the dinar, that the Dow at 20,000 was a sign, and he had prophesied about Trump being in office and the rains in California. What was funny is Trump getting in office, the Dow hitting 20,000, and these rains in California coming happened within 5 days of each other. It was such an amazing convergence to see. So I know we're in that time and season of the RV. I think we're going to see a bunch of wars that are short in duration but high in intensity. Kim had prophesied, I believe it was, about 10 short wars that were intense but were short. And Kim had also had an experience where he was caught up in the spirit, and it was as the RV had just happened. So the RV had happened, and what people were saying, he could hear them, were saying, like, why? Why now? And there was an agony in his voice that he was picking up from other people, suggesting that this was a very inopportune time, or didn't look like the right time for this to happen. Well, if the U.S. is at war with North Korea, making strikes against Iran, is dealing with ISIS and is dealing with Russia and potentially China, wouldn't people suggest that that would be the bad time for the RV? I think that's exactly when it's going to happen. You're seeing all this tension with Russia, with ISIS, with Iran, with North Korea, and I think we're right in the middle. I'm hoping the RV happens in August. A friend of mine had sent me another word from Kim Clement. It was in 2005, and it was like he was talking about specifically today. I believe he was talking about this point in history, actually. And something he mentioned was for finances to look to the months of August, September, and October. I know we're in the time and season for the RV, and I'm disappointed it didn't happen in July, but I definitely have not given up on it. I expect it to happen. I'm hoping it happens in August. I believe this is the time and season for it, and I also believe it's supposed to happen in Trump's first year in office. We need to pray for this, though. We need to speak life into it. We need to speak life over cashing out, and corporately we need to come together. So I'm challenging everyone for the rest of August to pray life, declare life over the RV, declare life over finances, and to bless America, to bless Donald Trump, and to bless this cash out process. I think it's going to be really awesome, but we need to pray over this stuff, and we need to be mindful of that. So there's a lot that's going on. I personally have not signed up with a group. Read into that whatever you want, and I know I will be cashing out. I don't really want to get into some things that other people have said, so you guys will need to read between the lines here. But I am not in a group. I am not going to be in a group. And the only 800 number I'm going to be calling is the number of the bank to speak to a private banker about cashing out. That's what I'm going to do. Read into that what you will. Trump is not going to be removed. He is not the issue. Really, at this point, we just need to pray because we know it's the time and season. We need to stop focusing on, well, this person has to be out or that has to happen or whatever. Just speak life over it. Bless the Dinar. Bless the RV. Bless the leaders that are in charge of putting this plan together. Bless the cash out process. Don't sell your Dinar. I'm not giving that advice. I'm not selling my Dinar. Some people had emailed me and said that they were. I'm not selling mine. Again, read into that what you will. So I think that about covers it for Dinar stuff.